Hey, this is Notser, and today's video we're discussing Matchmaker concerning premium recommendations. This is all because of the Vanguard and the Terrible and just recent premiums and my feelings on them. The Vanguard review should be out tomorrow. In gathering the footage, I have really discovered that this is honestly one of my most favorite ships to play in the game. And the tease is that imagine if they made a battleship that controlled like a cruiser. And the review will talk more about that tomorrow. But I absolutely love this ship now, and I didn't love it before I gave it more time and really understood what the finalized traits would be. Because it's gone through so many iterations, terrible, terrible Citadel. It had even better concealment, slower rate of fire, less accuracy, you name it, everything has changed, slower turret traverse. So this package in this format has existed for, maybe 5 or 6 days, maybe a week for me to play. And I really didn't recognize exactly what they were trying to do until I actually got to play a lot of it. And I love it now. And that review is going to just talk so much about this playstyle and how I really want a dedicated battleship line for this playstyle now. After playing it, I think I need it. But the Matchmaker. For as good as this experience has been, I can't in good faith recommend a $50+ purchase with the majority of your opposition being tier 10. Tier 10s are not just tier 10s. Tier 10s are players who are playing the same tier 10 over and over and over. So they have recent, real meta experience with that ship. They also are getting legendaries that sort of transform the play of the ship, and it makes it better at that certain playstyle even more. My Des Moines is so brutal in its ability to get in position and punish. APHE doesn't matter, it gets there. It has great AA, so nothing can get there to spot it for its teammates. I can wipe all that out before the enemy aircraft carrier even blinks. The Zhao's accuracy, Yamano's accuracy, the Hindenburg's tankability. These legendaries make ships that are already great even better, and then players who obtain those legendaries through all the grind, they are even better in those ships just controlling them. So for these tier 8s, who in many instances have to give up heal, they have to give up range of their guns, rate of fire, damage per minute, anything, the ability to mitigate damage, high explosive, all this stuff, they give all of these traits up, and then they get in a queue, and they are the token tier 8 in a sea of tier 10s. It's just not fun. It's not fair, and the queue feels wrong. It feels like the queue is trying to reward tier 10s rather than protecting tier 8s. And it feels really weird. It's as if, there's no outlet for everyone else to experience it. It's like everyone wants an all-star game all the time. And I get that might be appealing, but if your all-stars are always there, then they're not all-stars anymore. You can't just have tier 10 play all the time. It's really unhealthy to have to deal with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tier 10s as the token tier 8. And I have to say that probably 60 or 70% of my games, I was not only bottom tier, but I was the only bottom tier. Or the only of 2 bottom tier in a sea of tier 10s. It cannot continue like this wargaming. Something has to give that will improve the queue. And I was hoping that it was going to be arms race. And maybe it'll still be arms race. But it's gotta happen. It has to. The last couple of tier 8s, they've left a bad taste in my mouth for no other reason than the queue feels awful. It's not fair to these ships. They don't deserve to fight all these tier 10s that have just been so refined. And I'm not asking for tier 10s to drop in power. Tier 10 gameplay is probably the most balanced because wargaming is focusing so hard on making sure all these ships are a little bit better and a little bit worse, right? They're slightly tweaking some of these ships. They do it so well that, you know, tier 10 cruisers, honestly, they're probably better than tier 8 battleships, right? Tier 10 DDs are probably better than tier 8 cruisers. There's just so much growth in the tier 10 power versus the tier 9s and the tier 8s that they're just left in the dust. And we just can't continue to have this. Please, Wargaming, I hope that Arms Race is 100% live and active, has every feature that Random Battle would have. It rewards the exact same, but it's only for tier 10s and tier 9s. I think if that was implemented, it would be a great first step to alleviating these concerns. Another possible solution for the matchmaker, and I've thought on this for a while, and, you know, people have, oh, let's change it to be +1, -1. They're not going to do that, okay? They like the two-tier spread. It offers more variety to them, and you know what? I agree. It does offer more variety. But you know what they could do that would alleviate some of the bottleneck that exists at tier 10 with everyone trying to grind out those legendaries? They could absolutely clarify in the game UI that the legendaries are not going to run out on December 31st, because I still answer this question to this very day. And since they're patching in the clarification for the personal missions, why not also patch in a little bit extra completion potential for the personal missions? I have always thought, you know what, it would be great if a Japanese cruiser could progress my Zal legendary, regardless of the tier. As long as it's a Japanese cruiser, it would progress forward my personal mission for the legendary module. Wouldn't that be cool? If you know, obviously you need the Zal to even obtain the personal mission, but once you obtain the personal mission, why don't you just leave it up to player how they want to grind it out? Do they want to grind it at tier 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? You know, whatever they want to do. I think it should leave it up to them. It's just too grindy to be an exercise in skill. And since it's just a grind, why can't the grind include all the other great tiers? You know, I love World of Warships because you don't have to play a tier 10. Or you shouldn't. I love that it doesn't have gold ammo. I love that there's not this huge burden to always be top tier all the time. And yet I feel like Wargaming is patching all that back in. With the legendaries, the clans, the ranked, everything is incentivizing tier 10 play, even though all the other tiers are just as fun, have just as unique gameplay, and it's just as deep as the tier 10. If I was you, Wargaming, I would try and leverage any system that allowed players to find joy in any tier bracket, personally. And obviously you don't want people to be able to exploit it, but I think Arms Race, allowing the completion for the legendary, clarifying in-game the date that all these legendaries have to be completed by, aka they never have to be completed by a certain date. And then I would love to see Wargaming expand the completion to include all of the ships that led up to that tier 10 in that line. I think it would just feel better, it would be more fun for the player base, and there would be more tiers that get more representation in the game, and I think that's the best thing about the game. I don't know why Wargaming puts so much emphasis on tier 10, other than it's the most lucrative tier for the premium, you know, shop and the premium store. But I just think if you make a great game, people will support it. And you're just so close to greatness, Wargaming, with World of Warships. And I think if you just go for greatness, I think everyone's going to be excited, because that means that you're all in on the idea that the community is really in control. And if the community is in control, I don't see how this can fail. You know, I feel like this community is really understanding of design, and we're not yelling and screaming at the top of our lungs about how terrible everything is. There is a really large percentage of the community that just wants it to improve. And I'm a part of that. And, you know, I love the game. I can't wait. I hope that these concerns are met. I would love to tell you more about the Vanguard tomorrow. It's absolutely worth watching if you're someone who's on the fence about it. I can't wait for that video to come out. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Oh yeah, leave in the comments all your opinions and all of this stuff. But I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.